Okay. I started on the last page of the slideshow. Okay, embarrassing. All right, for our project 3, we did eState. It's by Hawa, Jessica, and myself, Christian. And we're gonna go over a few of our how our project goes. So like basically we'll go over the user interface, the design, and the testing. So these are our roles for the project. Basically we split it up into different portions where we're all developers and we all did testing together. So what's our problem? So we're trying to bring property buyers and property sellers under a single platform. So our requirements that we had to do for this project were basically login and registration. So some type of sign up and sign in. Easy to use, logical navigation, something that's very native, feels natural. We had to use form processing, good design principles, and effective use of images, colors, and typefaces. So basically just making it look appealing to the eye.
So next we're going to talk about design. So this is our logo. For our color palette, it's mostly blues with the peachy orange as our accent color. The first two colors was used for the logo, the third was for buttons, and the last one was mainly for text band. The fonts we used were Inter and Poppins from Google Fonts, with font weights varying from 300 to 700. The homepage is our first page that the user sees when they come onto our website. It introduces our company, answering questions such as what does our company do, what kinds of services do we provide, and why should they choose us over our competitors. This page includes our logo in the top left corner, a navigation bar, and a sign-in button in the top right-hand corner. The sign-in button on the homepage navigates the user to the sign-in page where they can enter in their username and password into the form fields. The user then presses the sign-in button, which will validate those form fields and takes the user to the buyer dashboard. If the user does not have an account, they can easily access it by clicking the link next to the don't have an account at the bottom, which will take the user to the sign-up page. Similar to the sign-in page, the sign-up page contains form fields, a button, a link back to the sign-in page. Rather than two, this page has 6 form fields, which takes in the user's first name, last name, username, email, password, and the confirmation of that password. There's also a checkbox beneath where the user accepts the terms of use and privacy policy. The sign-up button places that information into the database and takes the user into the sign-in page where they will sign in to get to the dashboard. If the user already has an account and does not need to register again, they can navigate back to the sign-in page using the link at the bottom. After signing in, the user is able to see their dashboard. The user is greeted with a welcome and thank you message. The top part of the buyer dashboard page is similar to the home page, but now the user can see the dashboard option in the navigation bar, and instead of the sign in button, there's a wish list and logout button on the top right. In the middle, there's a search bar, and from the terms that were searched, it will fetch the details of the property and display the cards accordingly.
All right, so as you'll see in our demo, we implemented some fade-in text and images. This was to ensure that the experience for the user would remain kind of interactive and keep the user engaged. We didn't want to just have static elements on the page. We also have things such as when you hover over certain elements, change color or fade slightly to again add the tactile feel to the site. All right, so here's our property detail cards. So as you can see, you'll have a picture of the property. with the address, the price of the property, and the size of it as well. Also, this user has the option to add this property, the potential property, to a wish list if they please. So with that, we tried to implement a wish list function in our site where the user would be able to take the houses that they would like to save for future reference and save them for later in a wish list. This was attempted using PHP and MySQL database in order to store the information.
So for our database, we used a SQL database, and we had tables for users, homes that are listed for sale, and the wish list. So the users would basically store like all that sign up info and the login info. That way users can sign in and out. The homes table would basically keep all those property details that describe the house, like the number of bathrooms, number of bedrooms, the price, square footage, things like that. And the wish list was just a place that had the same properties actually as the homes table, but it's just another place to store the homes that you add to that wish list. Then we'll get into testing.
So for testing, we use trial and error using different emails and passwords for login and registration. We tested all the buttons and links to make sure that they navigated to the correct place and opened the correct container. So for the Scrum framework, it was beneficial for me in terms of solving the obstacles we encountered. By our daily Scrum meetings, we were able to see where we were in the process of finishing the project. When we encountered discrepancies, we discussed how we can solve the problem so we can stay on track and on schedule. This methodology could be beneficial to me in the future by helping me better communicate with my future coworkers and work more efficiently on future projects.
All right, so Scrum was pretty beneficial. Many due to many of the reasons that Jessica had touched on. So with Scrum being part of the Agile methodology, it's very important that you always check in with your teammates and have these daily stand-ups, as they say. The stand-ups are very important because they make sure like we all stay on track and every piece is added up together and ensure that no one gets left behind. And with the small time frame that we had to work with, that was very crucial. That was paramount. So with that being said, I found it very beneficial. And for the future, many companies nowadays are adopting the Agile framework every day. So I have no doubt that this will be something that will pop up again in my future career. So it's very beneficial to kind of have that experience on the ground like sooner rather than later.
And yeah, for myself, the Scrum meetings were very helpful to me so that we could all make sure that we're staying out of each other's way and making sure that we can get done things that are bottlenecking other people. Um, Obviously, this will benefit me, same type of thing. In the workplace, it's a popular practice, so it'll be good to have familiarity with that already. And then we'll move into our demo. So we'll refresh to get that animation. So this is our home page. So we're going to help you find your dream home, and we'll be able to scroll down, find a little bit about us. There we go. Got a little why our company. And we're able to go ahead and sign in. Obviously, if you don't have an account, you could sign up here. You could fill it all out, whatever it is. Go through just so you guys can see it. And and we'll be able to sign up here. And when we sign in, it's going to bring us to our dashboard. So welcomes us to the dashboard, and we can start looking at homes. And we'll actually be able to click on these to view them. We can add them to our wish list, and we can view our wish list here. And then we can log in, log out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So when we log out, you can come back here and you can see now I can log in with that same info. And yeah, that's about it. All good? Yeah.